Well, my friend. It is not the normal day, but it is a day. How are you doing, sir?
Doing great, brother. Not as good as you, unfortunately. Tad bit of the envious side, I will tell you that.
Well, that is correct, and I'm glad you bring that up, Mr. Storm, because if you're in the toy industry, you know that I showed up to Toy Fest in Augusta, Georgia, and got to talk and hang out. Got my a bunch of people took pictures with me. It's just a typical Saturday, and hang out, and you'll hear what we're gonna talk about because it's awesome. Well, man, such a good intro. I wish. I know it's just good, my friend. It's
Yes,
good.
sir.
So let's talk about the big fork in the road here. This is more up your alley, if I'm being honest. Joe
Oh,
Fest.
yeah. Yeah, brother. I most definitely wanted to attend, and this is what happens when you're contracted with crap here in Southern California. You can't get out there, and or at least if I couldn't make it to Joe Fest, would have loved to went to the Dallas Fort Worth version of DFW Joe show in Grapevine, Texas. I would have loved to went there, but again, two biggest Joe shows of the year, chances are, and no Mr. Storm.
No, Mr. Storm, my friend. There are. So um, we have a couple things coming out on the channel outside of this. This is obviously going to come out first, but then there's a walkthrough. I grabbed some video as much as I could, um, and some pictures. So there's a bunch of like walkthrough stuff that we're going to be posting. Also, there's some stuff on our Instagram. And you would know that if you remember to subscribe, like, and follow all the cool things that cool people do. And hey, if you took your picture with me, you owe me money if you don't subscribe. Yeah. So, anyways, yeah, man, it was a cool festival, a cool convention, I should say. The parking was crazy. I'm used to LA, and it was
Uh-huh.
$3.75 to park.
Oh my goodness. Yeah,
And
that's
that's
like,
and that was parking where it was a 5 minute walk to get into the convention.
and that was all day.
Yeah,
Wow. Man,
it
that's
was
like
great,
three
man.
dollars every 20 minutes here in Southern
Yeah, it's
California.
every 5 minutes. Yeah, so the convention for me, where I'm based in Georgia, was about 2.5 hours away.
Uh-huh.
We had talked about it the night before
Good.
on PixelsPlasticInk, and wasn't sure if I was going to go, to be honest. But last minute, I said, you know what? Screw sleep. Let's do
Hmm.
this.
Hmm.
So took off on my merry way. You and I had a great conversation. We talked about what to look for.
Hmm.
And yeah, man, it was great. There was a lot of cool things. I saw some dudes started making these. I think I was on the phone with you. He started making these like 6 inch um, GI Joe classified boats, and he had like Tiger Force and all like the sublines.
Yeah.
It was the same boat, but he just painted it like all the
Hmm.
sublines. It was really cool. Um, but yeah, where do we start?
Well, one thing too is like, I give some guys, because there's a couple of guys that were out there that was from the SoCal Joe show that I noticed, and it was Adamat Toys and a couple of guys that we've seen in the Southern
Yeah,
California market. So that was kind of cool. And again, I the thing I love is when we jumped onto Instagram this morning just to see everybody's update. First of all, two different shows, and you had the Valivorce guys and other Joe fans at the DFW Joe show, and then you had, like, I think the Joe Fest was ones, if you're a GI Joe purist and you wanted to meet the Sarge and a lot of voice actors, a lot of old writers, and a lot of customizers. There
Insane.
was more customizers from the me living vicariously through you,
Yeah.
as we were talking. That was more than I've ever seen, and
Yeah.
a bunch of YouTubers, toy YouTubers. There were
Yeah.
like several live streams throughout the day. So, if you didn't get to sit there like we all did from here, I was sitting at home. I was living through Chet Maddox and Aaron the Toy Enhancer, the Savage Land. They were all throwing up live streams, and that was kind of cool to kind of see the floor in that kind of way. It made you feel like you were actually there, but I wasn't actually there because you passed by the Sarge.
I did pass by Sarge. Yeah. No, he was awesome, Dan. Look, Sergeant Slaughter looks looks epic all the time.
He does.
Um, yeah, he was cool. That was like the longest line there. A
Good.
lot of really like you said, there's a lot of I mean, there was a lot of customizers, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
There was a few brands that we can get into
Okay.
I'm curious about that I didn't have a chance to talk to them, but I did. Let me pull up um my images so I know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, I like so I think that like there's a lot of really cool brands that I'm excited to see what they do because the one is called what's on here. Anyways, we'll go over them, but there a lot of like the 3 and a quarter inch whatever size,
Hmm.
like the O-ring Joes and all that stuff. There's
Hmm.
a lot of those, man.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And there's some cool use of that size figure that I could actually get behind. Let me see if I can get the name. It was these guys were awesome.
Well, see, this is what happens when you have the JoeFest convention burnout, driving several hours up, several hours back, and everything. This is the thing. Well, and also not just because of the 3 and 3/4 inch. It seems like images yesterday towards the evening started coming out with a lot of the Super 7 O rings, and they had like non-painted apps, and you could see just some raw designs of them taking over the O-ring line, and I don't know if they're gonna call it this, um, but I saw some. It looked like they had some of the packaging. It said reaction, and I'm hoping that they, because the reaction figures I typically don't like because they're not really articulated, and you're paying a lot more with the cash than you
Yeah,
normally would, for like regular articulation. So I'm kind of hoping that that's not part of their coming up with another reaction line or something.
yeah. I didn't. I don't know. I don't think they would be.
Yeah, I know. And like look, while I think that Super Seven does some things really good, I'm just not a fan of their GI Joe stuff. I
Yeah,
don't think I don't like the reaction figures, the non-posability. They've done some now sculpt wise and some other stuff. They look pretty good, but I'm just not a fan of that type of toy line. But but they do certain other things right. I know they did The Simpsons a couple of years ago. They did that great.
yeah, they did. I won't bore everyone. If you stay tuned to the videos
Yeah.
where we walk through, you'll see they basically had this whole thing. It's like black and red, and it was they had this like giant skull ship you could buy from there, and had all their characters in it.
I'm wondering if that was Delta 17.
No, Delta 17 was badass.
Okay.
It was this was like a so Delta 17 was actually on the table in front of them, and then you went around the corner, and then
Okay.
that's where this other one was. And I like I just wanted to get up and talk about it. I know I'm not gonna remember a lot, but I did have a good conversation with Animal Warrior Kingdoms. Um their stuff, we've talked about it before.
Hmm. Hmm.
They're quality figures, man.
Oh yeah.
But we're just not really into that. But like after going and seeing their figures, like there's a couple I could get down with buying.
Hmm.
They're cool. They would definitely be like a one off because I would want them to pose, but um, I think the lore is a little too big on there. But I like
Yeah.
it. I like it either way around. Like, it's something I want to dig into. Talk to them. They're excited.
Mhm.
They're gonna jump on one of the Toy Box Chronicles podcasts.
It's good.
So I'm excited for that, man. I think it's cool.
And one thing about the AWOK characters is that not just from just look wise or posability,
yeah.
those with the scopes and everything, those are prime candidates for a lot of the toy photographers out there, because again talked about how creative these guys are with smoke effects and everything else. Like those are just because of the scopes are just so well on those. Like that's prime for that kind of stuff. So that's what makes those other lines, like again, like we don't necessarily collect those lines, but the appreciation, especially from some of the toy photographers I've seen on Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
like wow, man, they're taking that stuff to new different levels, man. And it does kind of hype you, where you're like, maybe if there's a character or something, because I know they had a giant rhino that looked like, wow, thing looked massive.
Mm-hmm.
So
I didn't.
yeah,
I was trying to find that one there. I didn't see that one.
yeah, they've had a couple of great characters that
Yeah.
I've seen. So
It was fun, man. And look, the guy, I think his name is Jason. Um, that is like the designer, and
mhm,
I mean he's cool cat. Was
mhm.
talking to everybody. They were giving stuff out. I got this from them.
Oh wow, was that
Yeah,
Thor's hammer that Tony Stark made?
yeah. That's what it's gonna be now. I'm gonna be honest with you though. This is really good quality. So
Wow, that's good.
I will tell you that if you buy one of their figures
Mhm,
and you get it, it'll become an addiction just because the build quality is amazing.
mhm.
And
Well,
that's the way it was with a lot of these like ones that I was stopping by their booths. A
mhm.
lot of them were like, "This is good quality, man."
Well, here's the thing that I do love about the conventions, especially when the customers come. Customization is rising in our industry, and I give these guys out there all the credit. And when I lump customization, I know there's guys that do it as a hobby, and then there's the guys like the AWOK team and everything who basically have monetized that situation where it was something that they did and it jumped to the next level. Look, you've got to look as good as the Mattels and the Hasbros.
Or better.
And guess
Yeah.
what? Or better. You're right. And they're doing that. They're doing that in real time because like they're putting the time and the efforts. And I think what makes some of these other smaller lines a little bit more fascinating is that there's a mandate that what Hasbro and Mattel can do. They're corporate ran. So there's always the thing that goes into cost, and this is what we can do. And that doesn't work so well when it's put into these smaller brands. It's more passion sometimes. If they really want a character, that character can pop up. And there's not a huge monopoly of like shareholders saying no, we can't do that. The numbers were bad. So a lot more creativity is coming from these small one-offs. I know Fresh Monkey Fictions there. Personally, one of my favorite new 6-inch companies, and actually 3 3/4, because I learned a lot about Eagle Force when I was at the SoCal Joe show. I got an education on that, and it's like that's interesting. But Operation Monster Force, a couple of these other figures that they're doing, it's like
Yeah,
wow,
Monster Force was cool, man.
yeah,
I'm a big fan of that size, like the old
mm-hmm,
school O-ring.
mm-hmm,
You can do so much with dioramas with that size,
yes,
which is I think it's almost perfect because
mm-hmm,
you can like you could army up and it doesn't take up a lot of space.
yeah. Well, not as big as Citrus, but it takes some space.
Yeah, it takes some of them. What a couple cool things I did see. I did see
Okay.
the guy that created the 4 sub levels on the USS Flag.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
And he
wow.
was cool. That was cool, man. I
Yeah.
really enjoyed it. He was that was either his 6th or his 7th one, and he said it was
Wow.
sold, and he was going home to work on the next one that he sold.
You got
And
like
I'm
what
just sitting,
a flag factory or something?
yeah, I'm sitting there thinking to myself, like, hold on a second, where are you getting the flags from? Because if you got a spot, but because the way it is that the whole top part is all the original flag.
Yeah.
It's all the original flag. And then the other levels he builds out of like he says like plywood and then like siding he gets off Amazon. But the detail inside there is what makes it cool. Like there's little
Wow.
arcade machines on some of the levels. There's like urinals. There's like he's got everything on there, and he said that not he never does one the same. So when you buy it, that's what you buy. Look, it was cool. It's a good idea, especially if you're gonna have that thing in your house to have extra levels, so you could just put even more of your figures on. Fantastic idea, and it's built right. It's done right. So there's little that I would change to that. There were some big things we saw there. I saw finally there was a box down for the Jabba barge.
No.
Dude, that thing was like went up to my shoulder, my ear, whatever. So that was cool. But I went there for a very specific reason.
I know you did.
And I gotta say, man, I walked in, and the first thing I got distracted by a lot of the shinies in there.
Obviously.
But the first booth I went and hit up was Ramen Toys.
Oh,
I'm like, Ace is such a cool guy.
Yeah,
like he's just fun to talk to, and we talked a lot about like we just talked about some stuff they're working on, and yeah, man, I got my story I wanted to tell you is Ace sold me my ramen racer.
Oh, okay. Wow. So you joined the Ramen Racer family, huh?
I joined the Ramen Racer family, man. He sold it to me. I was excited about it, and yeah, they had the bread box or the A-Team van.
Yes.
That's a yeah, the bread box. That is a cool ass car, man. That's a cool car. They also had the Tiger.
Oh yeah.
The orange one that looks kind of like Duke's,
Yeah.
Found out they might have some of those popping up because some people were wanting to do some returns because the sticker's in the wrong spot, which you and I talked about. Like, you have the option to put your own stickers on. So
well, here's also the thing, man. It's in like I more than understand the fact is that you want the thing correct and everything in every possible way, but like the average individual, I watched the Duke of Hazzard as a kid before the whole controversy of all the stuff that popped up on it, and like I didn't even pay attention to like mostly other than we knew that the flag was on top, but other little aspects of it, like how many people are just really purists? Well, apparently there's a bunch of people out there that's like, no, that sticker's 2 milligrams over and that's not going to work. And it's like, man, if that's the thing stopping you from enjoying something, you might want to take a good look at yourself.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you that there was definitely laughter happening when we were talking about why people were canceling their orders. I was like, wait, so everyone canceled the Tiger Orange because they were too lazy to put the stickers on themselves and got upset because someone else did it.
Yeah. And I guess some little minute thing is completely off. And like, look, you're not getting. Look, here's the thing, and I think I want people.
The overarching thing of what was off is that on the top of on the roof of the car, there is a certain flag.
Yes,
and then General Lee is at the front, like on the top, like above the windshield. It's just to the front of the car instead of in the middle.
Exactly.
And it's like, dude, come on, man.
Well, technically, it's like, oh, you mean it was on the passenger side too. It was above the passenger side.
It was above the driver's side.
Yeah, that's where it used to be.
Yeah,
so it's in the middle. It's in the middle of it.
Instead of being
above
in the middle,
windshield.
Instead of being in the middle, so it runs horizontal with the driver's side door.
Oh, but it's always ran.
It's always done that. It's always done.
That.
But it's in the middle of the top of the car in the show, but the stickers got applied close, like further forward towards the windshield.
Oh, so you mean that it's in the middle between the front windshield and the back windshield of the car, and don't show it. But it's a little bit closer to the front windshield.
I can show what I'm trying to talk about. Um, okay, so let me share this. So, because I think this is important to understand how just horrible people are. All right, so if you look here, um,
Yeah,
I don't know, you
I've
can't
got
see
it.
my mouse.
No,
Okay,
I
if
can see
you
it.
see where the frame goes from the front fender up.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Okay, well, right above the triangle window
Yeah,
is
the little
where
small.
it said General Lee instead
Okay,
of being in the middle of that. And
got
so
it, got it.
that's why people were
So it
canceling their
just
pre-orders.
again, it's more forward to the front of the windshield towards the small little intake window, comparably to being back and starts with the actual roll up window.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so, yeah, and again, this is what we talked about. We laughed about this scenario because if that's the only thing that's stopping you from enjoying that scenario, again, you might want to take a heck of a look at yourself because it's like I understand that there's some purists and they're like, wow, I've got but again, you had the option of applying the stickers yourself, could have done it
Mhm.
yourself, or the same thing is that now you've gotten an order and now you're like, well, I don't want to fulfill it because it's not that situation. Well, again, then hopefully there'll be somebody else to step up because the thing that people don't understand about Ramen Toys, and we are advocates of Ramen Toys on one way or another because this is a guy in Ace who is a catch-all person for everything in the company. Yeah, he's checking emails, he's doing social media, he's out in the shows, he's going through the access times of the whole production line and every other situation. This is not Hasbro. This is not a company where there's thousands of employees. you know there's a guy that just saw a niche in the market and he's reducing the niche. And let me tell you something, if you do not have the ramen racer, you have not seen that quality. Hasbro is not doing that quality.
Man,
And
that
I
I
love my
gotta
his tank, but
I
there's some quality on that Robin Racer, bro.
I wanna talk about that really quick
Hmm.
because, man, I was watching, I watched you, unbox it,
Hmm.
but I was there and seeing it in person, man,
Yeah,
which I'm excited about because I got the display one.
yeah.
Um, is that the quality that happens on those
Hmm.
is unreal. Like, it's unreal. It's so clever, and the fact that you can get Blade, or you can get you can get you can get Ghost Rider.
Hmm.
Like, there's just so many things you could do with this car. Yeah, like,
Well, here, you know what the detail goes down to. One, when you key it up, basically you put power to it. First of all, you can hear the actual Hemi engine, and you can hear the cam clicking. But also you can see the odometer and and the tach meter. It's both going, and the lights are shaking from that. But the seats moves forward and back and up and down like a regular car. It's actually move, and I'm like, look, I know you weren't getting that from that engine of vengeance that was going to come through from
no,
Marvel. They didn't put that detail in there. So when people are getting upset, and I understand that there are certain aspects of it. Think about this situation. There's not hundreds of people working in the quality control thing. It's
yeah,
not something that's mass produced. I believe it's less than what 2,500 for the Ramen Racer, and I like right around another 15, maybe or 11 for the Tiger Orange.
hmm
When can you own something that like the his tank? I think there's like 18,000, maybe 24,000 of the his tanks out there. You
hmm
know, every time you get something from Ramen Toys or some of these smaller companies, it's not something that's going to be mass produced. You might be getting something that might sit in not just in value, but just when people walk through. I've had family members that popped in over here, and it's like, wow, they came through and it's like, whoa, what is that? And I've had, and actually, a funny thing is, older family members reminisce about, oh, I had a '69 Charger, and it looked just like that. And oh, it's got the hideaway lights. Like the details is just amazing in this thing. So like, yeah, again, it's like certain times, like chill. It's just toys. It's not
yeah.
gonna, it's not life and death. There's no defibrillator here. We're gonna shock somebody back into life. Just be good with it because this man is humping. And just like a lot of people, Fresh Monkey Fiction and the
They were
Savage
fantastic.
Crucible and everybody there, these guys are working nonstop. They don't
Yeah.
have major teams helping them out.
Yeah. No, it was cool, man. There is something that I did pick up.
I know. I saw the photos of this.
Oh, did you?
I did. I did.
Oh, let me
Mm-hmm.
show you. There it is,
Yep,
my
I saw that.
and then here's the side with the real guy in it.
Yeah, wow. Wow. Yeah, Ace is outdoing himself. I give him credit. Now that's called what, the stealth mode, or what's the terminology for that actual repaint?
Night Ops.
The night ops. Okay. Now the other one is the shattered glass. Is that the one that's going to be at the BitCon or whatever?
Yeah, that's the one that's at the next convention coming up.
Okay. All right. So the shattered glass one, which I think is kind of purplish in color and
Yeah,
everything, but that still
cool.
looks cool.
Dude,
You
I'm
know?
I'm excited about it, man. It's really cool.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. Wasn't that bad. It's like 180. It's not
Hmm.
bad.
No,
Uh,
no, no.
so yeah, man. And then he had the ramen razor, which is
Yeah, I
the
saw that.
Mad Max one.
Yeah, I saw that. The
Uh,
interceptor.
yeah, I asked if that's the final paint. They said yes, and then also if you don't want to buy that, you can buy the pack to turn your ramen razor,
Ah, okay.
which is cool,
That's
man. And
yeah, that's
look,
cool.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't pre-order while I was there. Maybe I should have. That hunter, the tank that they have,
Yeah, wow. Yeah.
that thing is massive.
And did you see? Did it have like he was able to display it with all three of the modules, where it changes from like the Mobat to the Wolverine to the bridge layer? You know, it
Yeah,
has like three functions.
no, he just had it as
Yeah,
like the tank, but he had the blast effects on the end of the tank. I mean,
yeah,
this
yeah,
thing's like massive.
yeah. Oh.
And then he had like two cobras or whatever inside the tank because it holds two 6 inches. And
Yeah,
then they had a
wow,
bunch of other stuff around. They also had the Ace of Aviation,
wow, wow.
which dude, the Aces of Aviation figures were fantastic.
Hmm.
I only went there with a certain amount of money I wanted to spend, but
Yeah.
the one thing I was hoping he was going to have there he didn't have was Marshall.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh-huh.
He didn't have
Like,
Marshall.
again, you and also we I don't know if you had anything there. We've seen only mock-ups and everything. Ace and some of the other people involved in that are with the Flipper campaign.
Mm-hmm.
So there's Ace is putting it down for a guy that, like, it's because that's how that Ace cares about the community and the things, because you see Ace all the time.
Yeah.
And you told me that the minute you walked in, he like spotted you like right there. See, that's a guy that's paying attention to the community, and he's knowing the people and everything else. Because when we said, "Hey, we're going to attend," when he
Yeah.
popped in our live stream and everything, and I had every intention on doing that, and things always happen. But that's why I thought it was very important for you to go there, because look, I would have loved to have met Ace, because he just seems like a really cool, really nice guy that cares about the community.
Yeah, he is, and he was talking to everybody. His booth was cool to look at. There's a lot of really cool things in that booth, man. I could tell you, I'm definitely buying the bread box.
Yeah, 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 yeah. That's what I said again. It's like between Hasbro and Ace and everybody else. Ooh, man. When I remember when the classified line came out, and they were like, "Look, there's no vehicles," and they were like kind of saying there might not ever be any vehicles, and now it's just the access stuff that you're getting. Like,
Yeah,
wow,
well,
like,
there was what I thought was cool was there was a guy that had made like his own boats to match all like the sublines
oh, okay.
for 6-inch classifieds. They're really cool. I think I have a picture of them. That was cool, man. Look, we could go on and on for it. It was a
We
great, it was a
could.
great, it was a great convention. A lot of cool things. I'd highly suggest everyone hitting that up if you can, if you're ever in the Atlanta area, or you can get to one. Because if I was a bigger GI Joe collector, I would have had a problem
Mm.
spending money.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, you know what we should do, probably like maybe next year. Unless my Hollywood obligations keep coming up. Uh, what we should probably do is like maybe hit JoeFest if they're going to be the same competing point. Maybe hit that for a day, and then fly to Dallas Fort Worth and check that show out and everything, and just hit two Joe, because I don't know if anybody's doing that. So that kind of be kind of cool. Maybe plan it for next year.
We could hit up JoeFest on one of them on Friday.
And then we fly out. Exactly. We should do something crazy, because we would do something like that. That's the thing that's kind of funny. But it was nice to see that I saw so many great YouTubers. I know Mega J, Retro, and a bunch of other YouTubers, King Connections and or Ken Toy Connections was there. There's a lot of great tubers that were there, and I know Dan Larson was there, Pixel Dan. So it's cool to see so many of the people, our peers, that were out there and just having a good time.
Yeah, it's fun, man. I like it. I would do it again.
Oh yeah, well, very happy and very jealous of you, my friend.
Yeah, me too. I'm jealous of me all the time. Well, sir, thank you. Thanks for hanging out real quick. This is just a quick one. We don't need to keeping on, but there'll be a unbox video. You guys just saw it on here, but there's going to be an unbox video popping up tonight where I unbox the Gold Wing. And then we have a lot of stuff hitting the channels, a lot of stuff happening. Really excited that we got a Toy Box Chronicle coming up on Wednesday. So make sure you tune into that. Like I said, you need to subscribe. And for all you plastic lovers out there, I miss you.